Hey everyone, SaltyStark here. Today we're going to be going further in depth into runes, what runes to use for what. Uh, there's some runes, that kind of just aren't very useful and all that, so we'll go into basically where you should use each one of these rune sets. So, energy, as you can see, mainly on HP based monsters, or if you just want a monster to have a little bit more tankiness. I like energy and guard on 4 stars a lot more, just due to the fact that their base stats are so low, they kind of need that extra little bit of tankiness. Like look at the Remy, still only at 90k HP. Probably needs re-runed. I did believe I did this before I started changing how I was doing runes. As you can see, it just kind of has stuff. So we'll eventually re-rune that, but it's also not necessarily matters that much either because it's mainly used for PvE content. You can use it in PvP. I think it is pretty good for 4-star towers, but yeah. You also want it on monsters that don't need a lot of stats, or like a lot of other stats, like Ariel's not bad with it. Um, Art would probably be a little bit better just so you get more healing, but you kind of want to get to, those sweet spots. Try to avoid, like, accuracy doesn't matter, precision doesn't matter, evasion's okay, but at the end of the day, you're just stopping auto attacks, which aren't that relevant. So that's another good place for energy as well as guard runes. They're just really nice, like, no matter what you throw them on, they're gonna be good kind of runes. Blade's gonna be another kind of thing where, anything that you want to crit, throw it on. Like, not a big deal. As you can see, I have this built Rage Blade right now. Or Rage Despair right now. Or Blade Despair. Man, I cannot speak. Just because has a little bit of crit rate, a little bit of crit damage. It's still really tanky. And you never know if a little bit of damage is going to matter. I personally like to have my monsters have a little bit more damage as long as I think they can live. And a lot of like the tankier monsters should be able to live, so like especially like my Akasha and my Delphoid, I like to have them on rage just because if you get into a situation where your back's against the wall, you never know if that 3-mana strip, the 3-mana strip's gonna turn the fight. Delphoid's is 3, and then Ashes is 4 mana, but never know when it's gonna change the fight, so it's pretty nice in those kind of scenarios. It could be better to have them tanky too, so just play to your style kind of thing whenever you're trying to do that stuff. Rage runes are also really good for a lot of the PvE monsters. Argon and Perna being very good examples. So we move on to Fatal. That's going to be for more for your bombers and your HP damage percent healers. So my Huahi is HP based. I believe my Molly is. No, I have my Molly on Swift right now for the auto attacks, but you could also build her HP based. So stuff like that. The precision doesn't matter on Molly. Fun fact: a lot of people are building Jameer right now. They're building Swift, but you have to land the hit in order for it to heal. So you do need that precision if you are going to build it Swift. Speaking of Swift, this is going to be for your auto attack based monsters. So as you can see, my Ardella has it. A couple of my Harks have it because they heal on auto attacks. This is mainly for PvE, but that was for whenever Seal wasn't able to just get destroyed. That's going to be Switch is mainly just for your auto attack based monsters. It's also really good for like Savannah and stuff. I had a nice rage set for Savannah, so I didn't care too much about putting that on. But or Barbara, Savannah, and Masha though can be built on Swift pretty well. There is an argument to be made that you want your Savannah on or on Fatal though, just because she has to have more damage than whatever she has to have more attack than whatever she's doing, whatever she's fighting for one of her passives to activate. Focus, it's not a bad set at all. It's just not very used either, just because, you know, you get so much natural like stats on stuff. Like if we go to a bare basic unit there, we just go to a unit I don't have ruined at all right now. Like this, as you can see, the accuracy is already at 31%, resistance is at 30%. So, and depending on how you want to do your gems and stuff, you might not need those. Me personally, I have all my gems based on evasion, so just because I don't want to worry about maxing stuff out and trying to figure out stats. Evasion's going to be good on everything. Or, it's not going to be great on everything, but it's at least usable on everything. It does help in situations like this. If, let's say, like a Karambit gets on my Chiwu should be able to survive a lot easier just because of the higher evasion. So, but moving on. Endure is good on stuff that needs multiple avenues of approach. So like anything that needs like accuracy and resistance, Endure and Focus runes aren't bad for that kind of stuff. It's kind of like a placeholder rune, or I wouldn't say it's necessarily a placeholder rune though. I would just say it's more like a when you run low on runes, you start throwing it on stuff because it's definitely like a good. It's not a bad rune set, but it's not a great rune set. Foresight runes are kind of the same way. Like anything that doesn't like, don't worry about the solution too much. It's a troll build, but like anything that doesn't need like crazy amount of accuracy and resist, or doesn't need any accuracy, like Shushu for example, I have foresight runes on just because it helps a little bit. Assemble is going to be for your auto attack based monsters as well, just because you need to hit those auto attacks. So, for example, right now I have mine on my monkey. I don't have too many assemble runes just because it's not one of the dungeons I really farm. Despair is going to be for anything that has heavy AoE attacks. Like, as you can see, Juno, Praha, and Panda. I like it on my Chiwu. It really saves the day. I also have it on my Tiana. I can't tell you how many times going off mana and letting it use its skill 1, it's actually stunned something and saved the day. So it's just a game-changing rune. It's not like the most impactful runes ever, but it can really upset a fight. So you definitely want it on things that have AoE attacks. It's really good on beetles too, just because they don't have a great knockup chance with their dash, but you combining the two, you're not guaranteed to get that CC effect, but it greatly increases it. Vampires for some monsters. It's kind of like one of those things where I'd say it's probably good on like Dragonites and stuff like that. I try, so the reason why my Sekhmet has it, for example, and Lucian is I tried whenever World Boss came out, I was trying how the guide said to do it, like the in-game guide where you run mages to destroy the rocks, and this helps keep them alive. So there's some argument to be made that it helps in World Boss and stuff, but there's not too many units that use Vampire from what I've seen so far. It can be decent at times. Drained by 30% is pretty good. Shields for shield just an overall general rune. It gives tankiness at the start. I feel like we'll see a lot more shield runes whenever the 5 mana set hits, just to avoid comps one-shotting your team. There is a statement to be made though that people are going to run Baron and stuff like that. So shield's just a good generalized set, just to if you feel like your team needs more tankiness. It's also really good with Tashar because it starts his, like if you're trying to run a team with Tashar, you want them all on shield runes. And then Destroy. Destroy is a good set overall. It makes it to where people can't stall out a fight until the timer and then have more HP than you. The only monster that really counters it's Gene. So I know a lot of people used to build everything with Destroy. It's kind of toned down a little bit more now, but Destroy is still a pretty good set overall. But that's pretty much where all the runes should be used. So thank you guys and have a good one.